Hello, Niver. What's up? This is Chizoba Katie, and I am your host on Novels and Bits podcast. So, welcome. If this is your first time joining us, Niver is simply my coinage of Novels and Bits listener, my kind of affectionate way of addressing you. So, thank you for being here. And today, this is Heat of the Everflame 5. I have worked so hard to cramp this into just 6 parts. I don't want it to be longer than 6. And even in coming stories, I'm just like, no matter how long a book is, 3 parts at most. Let's just cramp it in. Let's recap in the best way possible in a short time. Maybe at least just maybe the most is that the episode might be longish, like 1 hour or so. But let's just make it 3 parts because I really want us to do a whole lot more stories on this podcast. And really, I can only release once a week. Since it's just me that is on my team, I need to be able to create the script, do content, market, do all the things, record, edit. So that's why it has to be once a week. So if you're feeling very generous, the only thing you can really do for me is please join our Telegram community. The link is right there in the show notes. Please share this link to just one person you know that would enjoy it. Or share it on your status or just privately to one person. If you're not comfortable sharing on your status, that is fine. And then leave a review on Apple Podcasts if you're listening there, or on Spotify. Those are the best ways to support what I do, to support this show. And God bless you from the bottomest part of my heart. Thank you for being here. So let's dive in. In the last episode, we ended things where they were in a race. Diem was in a race trying to save Luther's life. She was giving up all hope. She was trying to give him the tonic that would finally take away his life, let him have a peaceful passing. But something caught her attention, metal. So through the compass, she got the Aber's vial. She fed it to him. And she's like, maybe I should pour it into the wound directly. And by this time, Luther's body is disgusting. You know, the image I used for the cover of the last episodes is the best I could get AI to replicate how Luther looked at my scale. Do you understand? I'm trying to improve my AI skills. I'm trying to take this bootcamp, and let me tell you, I am terrible at taking online bootcamps. But I'm like, I have to discipline myself to take this bootcamp because it's going to at least help me in terms of creating imagery so that you see what I'm talking about. Do you get? So I'm trying. So his body looked disgusting like that, covered in things that looks like coal and stuff. To be honest, I could not even stand the image. I couldn't. It gave me the creeps. I don't know if it gave me the creeps. It really did. So that's how Luther looked, and worse than that possibly. Because at least this image I created is over a body. That one is you're seeing it inside the person's body. No wonder lady screamed. Me, I would more than scream. I would not even be able to look at you. Diem is even trying, touching him and everything. Man, he must have looked so disgusted, leaving him on the bed. I know definitely there is a love element there, but goodness, Jesus Christ. Y'all, oh my God. Tending to the sick is not easy. Jesus. God have mercy on them. God have mercy on us. Thank God for his healing power. Oof. Okay, so let's get back to the story. So Diem does all of this, and all that's left right now is to wait and see. So she slips off on this, white cuddled next to one side of him. Lily does the same on the other side of him. So that's where we ended things. Now let us dive into the stretch of today's chapters. Diem's next conscious thought is of her friends wondering if to wake her or not. She thinks it's because Luther is gone, but the man himself says she's already awake. All their friends are in this room. They were called for the inevitable ending of Luther, but now it's actually turned to a celebration. Most of them are passed out or so exhausted. How Luther looks right now. The poisoned veins had receded from his head and limbs entirely. The reach now barely touched the base of his ribs, and perhaps Diem is being delusional in her shock, but she swears she can see them shrinking. His wound no longer has a poisonous ooze. It's actually scabbing over. Right now, she now pushes her photos magic, healing magic, to fortify the ongoing healing. Unlike before when she tried this, when she has not used the Aber's vial and her blood has not touched his wound and all those things. The photos magic was not working then, but right now it's making the healing happen faster. So she and Lily hug him and they start crying. Taran wakes up, as does Zal and Tella. Everybody's happy. Alex, Eleanor, Remis and Havana. They seem close, holding each other. After some stilted words with his father, that is Luther and Remis. The couple leaves. That is Remis and Havana. Thank God. Let our crew rejoice in peace. Diem actually, a gut feeling of hers is telling her that it's not the Aper's vial alone that healed Luther. Something is tingling at her, but she just cannot figure it out. Healing 3 Godstone wounds? Impossible. Meanwhile, Diem is still in her nursing mode, forcing Luther to eat and drink. Pet is asked to go rest, but the rest of their friends climb into her bed. Her bed must be giant-sized. They're talking, they're laughing, they're telling of the past weeks. She reveals to the larger group everything she revealed to those at Umber's. They're accepting it. Okay, you helped the Guardians, you were part of this, da-da-da-da. Except Tella. Tella sours as per, I'm your brother, and you kept so much from me. Now, he's even avoiding her eyes. Zalaric is easily accepted into the group, and he's relieved because he didn't even know if that would have happened. Like these royals who just accept a bastard like him, half model, those kind of things. But Zalaric is so welcome. Eleanor is going to take him shopping. They'll find him a palace room. In fact, Eleanor wants to throw a celebratory dinner, but Luther says he's tired. So she's like, okay, I'm going to send up food platters. Luther now has to look at Eleanor and say, I'm not hungry. It's Zal who points out that, I think, Luther and Diem needs privacy. So like that, everybody politely leaves, but not without Taran and Diem trading dirty jokes. Now, once they're alone, Luther forces himself to stand. I mean, this guy just returned from the very brink of that. And he is standing. And she's like, no. But he's like, he has to stand to say what he has to say, which is, I love you, Diem Bellato. She says it back, and they're both so happy. I'm happy reading and retelling this. Whatever is coming, they're together right now. So lying side by side in bed, she clarifies her feelings were clear before she knew he was dying. That this is not about you dying. I mean, she came to the room at Umber's to say, oh, I love you, even if I know you're keeping secrets, before she even found out he was dying. So this is not about his almost death experience. It's a realization she had even before she knew he was dying. So he tells her that he understands. And he now tells her, I have so much to apologize for, Diem. I lost my temper. I said careless things. I made you doubt how I feel about you. The fact you are still willing to fight for me through it all, it means more to me than you could ever know. This tenderness, and yes, the apology. Also, that was Godstone temper too. When a descendant is infected with Godstone, they flare up. Their mood swings are terrible. Just like we saw Luther being all angry and possessive and extra protective. All those things were part of the Godstone effect on him. As for Remus, the only way in Luther's eyes that his father can redeem himself is by supporting Diem. Also, Diem plans to rescue her mother from Photo's prison the very next day. Of course, they argue about who should go and who should stay because they're not willing to risk the other person. They're both so selfless and so tirelessly martyrs. Now, they now make a deal that Diem is like, I need to make sure she's even still alive before I risk taking on photos. And only a crown has access to see her. If the Godstone toxin is gone by tomorrow afternoon, he interjects, it's going to be gone. She's like, and if your body isn't still weak, he interjects, it won't be. I'll be ready, my queen. And he kisses her. In this stretch of chapters, they kiss a lot, and I love it. Luther is recovering. He's not there yet. And Diem cannot risk him relapsing, so they must behave. No untoward activities, guys. Now, before settling in for bed, Diem goes to see Sarai and applauds how well she's been doing. She tells Sarai, I bet you can take on Tybalt. The igneous grabbit. And Sarai is sad. So we learn here that Tybalt is actually Sarai's beau, but they've been separated for thousands of years. Thousands. Diem says she's going to find a way to free her, but Sarai is not hopeful. She's just, okay. Maybe past crowns have promised to help Sarai, free her from this chain and have her be free, reunite with her love. But we know how that goes. Now, Luther promises Sarai all the apples she can eat for saving his life. Diem is finally changing for bed, and in her bralette is the key to the Umber's library. She's like, but me right now reading this, when Luther woke up and stuff, Taran baited Luther. I was thinking, didn't Diem take that opportunity to bait herself? Or did she just clean up a bit and change her external wear? Well, she's not baiting now though. She just tosses the key to the back of her wardrobe, thinking she's not going to be using it again. I mean, Umbrus is a closed chapter for her. She changes into a flimsy lingerie and puts back on the cobra necklace Luther gifted her. She didn't take it on her travels, which was why at least it's still intact. It's still here, so she wears it back on. Luther is not even surprised that Diem wants to free Sarai and see her reunited with Tybalt. He now tells her, "You saved Zalaric after he betrayed us. You're nudging me to make peace with my father. You've been far kinder to Aemon than he deserves. Face it, your majesty, you're a good person." But when he sees her outfit, he's like, "No, you're a bad person. You're punishing me. Considering that it's not like I can touch you or do anything." Diem is like, "This is not punishment, bro. It's making sure we can do more than just touch for many nights to come." You get. So right now they just cuddle and they go to bed. Because he tells her, "Many nights, all the nights I ever have, they all belong to you." This is so wedding vow material. Many nights, all the nights I ever have, they all belong to you. Somebody tell me that on my wedding day. So Diem reminds him of everyone gathered for his sake. He's so loved. That's what she points out. He also tells her that, "Diem, you're the one who brought all of us together." He tells her that with your support, Eleanor has become a true leader. She kept me sane while you were gone. She always stayed positive and reminded us you were too much of a fighter not to survive. She's more confident than I've ever seen her. Alex too, you saw in her immediately what I should have seen years ago. And my sister, standing up to father about her betrothal and showing interest in becoming a healer. She would never have done that without your encouragement. Even Taran, if you can believe it, he's drinking less than he ever has. Diem is shocked he drank more than now. Oh Lord, it was bad. Luther is trying to say, you gave us something to believe in, a reason to feel like we're not in this alone. We were always related, but you made us family. Tears. They kiss some, talk some, and sleep. If only the story ended here. Oh, what a happy ending. But no, the very next day, Diem is working with Eleanor, who has been very hard at work, gathering young descendants to Diem's side. They agree the system is unjust. However, it's the older generation that holds power. Also, Eleanor wants freeing a rebel leader might make those newfound allies turn on Diem. Lily is Luther's nurse and is excellent at it. That is, if Luther tries to get out of bed forcibly, she starts crying and Luther is forced to stay back. Now they run into Alex and Diem continues with her. Eleanor leaves for other duties. They're both headed for the armory where Diem wants to collect some weapons for her mission at Fortress. Alex finally shares her secret project with Diem. When Diem unleashed after her father was murdered, the dark onyx substance was Godstone in its raw form, that covered the entire place where her family house used to be. At Ambrose, Zal introduced Alex to someone whose family has been making weapons with that raw stone material for centuries. So she shared the house with Alex for a hefty price. Alex intends to make armors out of the material since Godstone is impenetrable. She wants to show Diem the progress at the armory, but they're denied access by the House Corporal guards and the Amarian soldiers. Ramesses orders. Apparently, the king of Fortress blabbed that Diem hasn't been actually coronated. Diem recalls that, Montios didn't get to spill his blood on the hearthstone. Alex is irritated. It's only in Lumnos that the crown goes through the 30 days challenging and other formalities. In other realms, your rule starts immediately. The crown comes on you. And this is how they're treating Diem. And the guards would rather die in duty than to be executed by Remes. Diem understands this. So she leaves to confront Remes instead of taking on those poor guards who are just doing their duties. As for the Emaran guards who sneer at Diem, because most of them are from Fortress and those guys are very misogynistic, Diem makes light magic hold them down and onto a hip. Now this confrontation with Remes is hard. First, he's in a meeting with the Hanoveras. Him, Gareth and Aemon are trying to make amends instead of the House Hanoveras making amends for going behind Diem's back and trying to get everybody against her. Do you understand? Now, Ileana knows of Diem's betrothed, courtesy of Aemon who just can't shut up. Also, the Hanoveras are still threatening Diem openly. Ileana is bitching about how Luther only wants Diem for her crown and has something much deeper with her. Her Ileana. Remis wants Mater to hold Ileana back. Her choice of words are interesting. Come, child, let's not waste our time on a half-breed who consorts with rebel scum. Those were part of the words written in blood at Diem's father's mother's site. It takes Diem back to that moment. On their way out, Jean confirms he's actually Zal's father, Zalaric's father, and awaits their reunion. Jean has a very nasty habit of frequenting mortal brothels, sleeping with the women there. That's how he impregnated Zal's mother, and yet he'll still have been the one to kill the boy. Now, once they're out, Remorse confirms he's the one who told them about Zal, because Diem is wondering who told the Hanoverians. So Remorse is like, yes, I was the one who told the Hanoverians about Zalaric before they can hear about it elsewhere. Diem disagrees that he should not have done that as she's queen, but Barrett goes, not yet. You're just a stupid girl with a crown. That explodes Diem, so she wraps shadow vines around Garrett, suffocating him. And then when she lets him attack her with his magic, she absorbs it. Remorse calms down the situation. Diem lets go of Garrett, allowing him to tumble down, and then he's taken away by Aemon. Diem orders Alix to warn Zalaric and the others that the Hanoverians know. Okay, so as Alix goes, it's just between Remorse and Diem right now, and Remorse warns her that she shouldn't go around threatening everyone she dislikes with her magic. And that's eerily similar to her father's last words to her, who's like, does your temper actually solve anything or make you feel like you're solving anything? Do you understand? Those are two different things. Is your temper actually solving something, or is it just making you feel like you are doing something? Those are the things Remorse is telling Diem again, in not this exact same words, but similar. Do you get? And the worst part is that Diem doesn't do more than threaten. I mean, if you threaten people and you follow it through and you actually have examples, maybe you're like, I will kill you if you cross this line. And someone crosses that line, and based on you've said it, you kill them because you want them that if they cross this line, you will kill them. At least everybody will respect you that, if we go so far, she feed Duamo. But Diem will still warn you after you cross that line. So you will keep crossing lines because you don't know how much lines you will cross before your cup is full. Because she keeps giving you too much graces. Do you understand? And these people do not respect you if you have that kind of mercy. All they know is fear and control. Yes, I know that's not the best way. I mean, a whole queen and she is powerless. Do you get? It's frustrating. So I get when many people get frustrated with this story, sincerely. But we are still here and we still have to just keep going to see how it turns out. As to what Remorse has been up to in Diem's absence, he has been trying to keep the peace. Without his magic, he needed Amarian soldiers in the realm, or else houses like Hanovera would burn down Mortal City. Never mind that these same Hanoveras need mortals for servants. Also, Diem is wanted for questioning by the crowns. Remorse thinks that by him being in power, the 20 houses would behave, and other crowns would gather again to complete her coronation. If Diem is unwilling to cooperate with this and decides to kill Remorse, a civil war could be unleashed and many innocents die. Remorse knows Diem doesn't want this. I mean, if she were a power-hungry person, she'd be like, whoever wants to die should die. In fact, she'll even go and kill them herself. But because he knows she wants to do things with as little bloodshed as possible, he's using this over her head. Do you understand? So he just tells her, this arrangement is temporary, just until things settle and you're crowned. So Diem says she's going to go along with this on two conditions. Alix has to be High General, and the progeny laws, like the laws that says half mortals must be killed, has to be suspended. She's willing to fight on these conditions. So he agrees to them. Diem returns to her suit in time to see Luther trying to get out to go incinerate his father, Garrett and Aemon. You know, that why are you not letting the queen rule? Why are you trying to steal her power away from her? He's being held back by their other friends, except Zal and Tella, who think this whole scene is amusing. Alix has already delivered the message now. That's why he's obviously like this. Diem informs her that, formerly High General, already informed Remorse. So as High General, she's actually to follow the regent's orders, but not where it concerns Hotem mortals. Diem trusts that Alix would do what's best for the realm. They get. Tyrion wants to see the part where Diem kicked Garrett's ass. Garrett is also Tyrion's father. Tyrion's abusive, power-hungry, evil father. Do you understand? So Tyrion is like, I want to see where he kicked his ass. So instinctively, Diem has never tried this before, but she's a crazy person. So she projects the memory onto his mind of how she went about kicking Garrett's ass, and he's enjoying himself. But then she exposes too much, including the part where Remorse scolded her about using her magic to attack everyone, and that reminded Diem of her dad's last words and the hurts. The moment Tyrion says, oh, Diem, I'm sorry about your dad. Jean is Zal's dad, that kind of thing. So she exposes all of that to Tyrion unintentionally, and she has to yank back the magic, so he doesn't say more than that. So Tella leaves angrily when he thinks Diem is keeping more secrets. You get, because she doesn't throw more light on what that whole thing was about, because it's something that makes her feel so vulnerable and she's not willing to go there yet. Meanwhile, Diem ready to fly out on Sarai to Mortal City to see Henri. She checks with her magic that all of the Godstone is out of Luther's body before healing that torn skin. His part right now is to gather whatever they need to go to Fortos. They're going to Fortos today. This is right now, let's say, this is still morning, like late morning. So they're still going to go to photos today. She takes off and lands close to where her family home used to be. So Rai takes to the skies as though Diem is still mounted on her. So descended soldiers come searching. They don't see her because they don't look up where she's hiding on the branches. Their upbringing is too privileged, it stinks. How are you searching for somebody and you don't look up? You don't think they could climb. You're just looking on the floor. Haba. So when they leave, Diem pulls a hood over her head and she now enters Mortal City. The mortals, many she treated and showed kindness to, they're whispering about her right now. Imagine, they're just saying it's her fault the soldiers are here. Maybe they'll leave if they catch her. I thought they put her in prison with her mother. That's why she never had friends. We always knew she wasn't really one of us. She hasn't been here once since the challenge and she's already forgotten us. Is it true her whole family are guardians? Oh my goodness, these are people she helped at some point. Right now she's in a hood, so they can't say she's walking quite literally among them. People are really so hard to love. How did Jesus do it? And he knew men's hearts are this vile. Now, Diem thinks she's going to address him later, but first, Henri. So it turns out he is making out with a petite porcelain skin girl with long blonde hair. That's just Henri's type, the petite blonde cuties. This girl is Lana the healer. Diem laughs out of relief, calling attention to herself. Lana is the one who's sorry Diem found out this way, but Henri is cold to her because he has heard from Vance. Lana is sorry for what Diem has been through, but Henri has. That's what Lana says, and she's not going to give him up. Now, the way Henri looks at Lana is how Luther looks at Diem. A part of Diem feels possessive because this is her Henri. They were besties, they were lovers, they were betrothed at some point. You get. Now, when she's having a private word with him, she wants to know when he and Lana started. He asks when did she start with Luther. She tells him the day of the challenge. I came here to end our engagement the night before, but you were out of town. She explains she felt lost and thought she would die, and he wasn't even there for her. As for Henri and Lana, things started building up after Diem was revealed to be descended. She was never around, but he loved Diem very much, whereas she never returned the same fervor and emotions. It comes up the soldiers are making random mortals disappear to keep people on edge. Diem promises to find a way to make it stop. Thank God Henri does one thing right here though. He asks the question on our mind, at least on my mind. Isn't the crown supposed to be the strongest descended? Why not just kill anyone who tries to stop you? So she explains, I'm not Vance. I don't solve every problem with murder. Henri points out she had no problem killing Abbers. Diem clears the air that she was held down and cut open, yet she sent her Griven away to save their lives. She now says, I tried to escape to save my mother. He didn't say that, did he? That he and his men chased me down and nearly killed me. I'm sure he didn't say all of that because Vance is good at making narratives, twisting narratives so that they look in his favor. Henri is uncertain hearing Diem reveal all of this. Diem has to say plainly, Vance is not a good man, Henri. All he cares about is hate and violence. I know you. You're a better man than that. What Henri answers reveals he knew about Aurelie's mission in Korea and lied to Diem. He suited her by saying he believes her mother was coming back. The old gods told him what's keeping Diem's anger in check right now is a reminder that she did something similar to tell her as well, not telling him all the truth. So Diem's final words to Henri is inform Vance that the blood he collected won't work. And if he comes near my loved ones, he's going to die. She wishes Henri a happy life with Lana and makes her way to the center of the market. As she does, she lets out only her luminous magic. She doesn't want to reveal that she can use all kindreds. Now, there are so many different reactions from the mortals. There are those who prepare to fight her, those who scream and hide, those who want to kneel. She halts all of them. Now, the Emaran soldiers pour out different eye colors. The Emaran soldiers are descended from various realms, serving in the army, and they say an edict says she's wanted by the crowns. Diem boldly issues those edicts can kiss her bum. They first try to take her by swords, being wary of using their magic in front of mortals. Diem fights back with her vines, her shadow vines. Boom. So they now release their magic. Now note this, unlike the female photos descended, who all had healing magic, like the kind Diem used on Luther, the photos men wield a rotten, deadly force that decays their victims' bodies from within. So they unleash that on her. Those with fire, wind, and snow do the same, and she just absorbs all of it. So Diem gives a grand speech to the mortals that she relates to their struggles and hates towards the descended. Some as bad as their thoughts, actually, but not all of them. She promises to spend until her dying breath defending them. She warns the soldiers that if any mortal goes missing again, she'll come for them. I don't know how true that is. Like I said, Diem doesn't necessarily do much when her threat is crushed. So we don't know if she can actually handle killing anybody or doing what's necessary. really, that's what makes her frustrating, because she won't do what's necessary. But again, I try to remind myself that she's only been crowned for how long? 2 months? Before then, she thought she was normal. So, yeah, if you thought that this is a choice you could live your whole life having, as a healer, first of all, with the healer's vows, don't kill and co. She thought she would live her entire life not killing anyone. And was just defending herself, okay? But being a crown is different. Being a crown means you kill when it's necessary. Even if you're president of a country, even in modern times, you still have to issue orders like, soldiers, go clear out all those rebels there. That's indirectly you still killing people. Do you understand? But Diem has not gotten to that point. But I just have to remind myself, she's only 2 months into being a leader, learning what it is, the kind of choices it takes. You get? So I'm trying not to be that harsh, because it's not like now. It's not like even me, myself, if I make a decision to pray every day or do something that I follow it through, with my whole being for that 2 months. You get? So I feel like this at times when novels challenge us in reality, like if you were in her shoes, you would actually not do much better. But yes, you are angry at her choices, but you're just hoping, please grow up. Please, I hope you make the better choice. You get? So let's just keep going. Let's see what her journey looks like. Now, this is midday. This is officially afternoon. Beneath, as she flies off on Sarai's back, every mortal bows to Diem after hearing her speech. So that's hopeful. At least she's winning people on her side. Okay. When Diem returns, her quarters are empty. Maybe all her friends had something to attend to. She changes into the leathers from challenging, makes her hair into a coronet, packs all the weapons Luther gave her on her first night in the palace. When she exits, Pet is standing guard in front of her brother's room, like right next to hers. She confesses she was partly responsible for the fire that would have taken his life, that she saved him from. To him, it doesn't matter, because he clarifies that as good as the late king was, he wouldn't run into a burning building even if he lit the match. Diem checks in on Prince Teller. That's Pet's reference to him. Teller hates being called Prince. Also, poor guy has been holding up under all the change his life has gone through, but he's reached breaking point. He misses his old life, his mortal friends, and how things used to be. Also, Teller isn't in support of Diem going to bring back their mother. It's Fortress, and their armed descendant who can take her out. So Diem uses this opening to show her brother she has the magic of all the realms, except Sophos, because she hasn't been there yet. Diem promises. Her brother did not ask her to promise. So this is her really acting on guilt. I failed my brother, I failed my father, I must reunite my family. That's the only way I can make up for all my wrongdoings, okay? So she's promising to reunite their family. Teller asks if there is any more revelation, and she says there is none, because right now she's actually forgotten that Sophos invited her brother. Now he's going to come back to bite her in the bum. Okay. Now Teller is studying her crown with new eyes, and he's about to say what it reminds him of when Diem bends over in agony. It's not her that hurt is being inflicted on. It's Sarai. The people hurting her have a hunger to kill. Through Sarai's eyes, they're burned. Diem sees her surrounded by luminous guards and Amarian soldiers. Her hide is pierced and bleeding. Around her neck are thick chains that they're pulling, making her and Diem gasp for air. Diem is trying to head there when she's restrained by a team led by a female guard. The High General Alexis orders that Diem must be kept in her rooms. When this woman makes the mistake of touching Diem, all of them are flung back by a fraction of Diem's power that still crunches their bones. As Diem runs through the passages to get to Sarai, any other guards that approach her meet similar fate. She's aware her magic is untrained and that she's just hammering away. She's not pacing herself, even though her magic is so powerful and so full, right? But she's expanding more than she needs to because she's not trained. Honestly, she feels resentment about not being trained in this particular stretch of chapters. If only she knew she was ascended early, if only she had a chance to train, she would be better prepared as a fighter, all those kind of things. And I feel every of that resentment. It's so guaranteed. Even though, yes, they never thought they would get to this point where she would be a crown or face all these things. They never thought any of this would happen. But it still doesn't stop that resentment from, I should have been better prepared. Her hardest part is through the Amarian soldiers led by Fortress commander. He won't be cowered by a woman. Remember I told you they are quite misogynistic. Also, the Fortress king has never taken on all of them at once. Why should she be any different? Luther appears at the door of the palace and snarls, touch her and I'll peel every last vein from under your flesh and strangle you with them. It doesn't take the soldiers time to figure out that the weakness of these two is targeting the other person. So they're gleefully going for Luther with godstone daggers when Diem finally yields to her godhood and releases the silvery light. She shuts her eyes at what she's done. Like, oh no, I made all of them wink out of existence. But then she hears the fortress commander's voice. What she did was make their godstone weapons disappear It's supposed to be impossible, as God's stone cannot be destroyed. Diem argues all the ones from the blood were where? Nah, they were stored away and locked away in photos. Instead of these guys to retreat, they're like, she's dangerous. She must be contained. Luther throws out his shield to protect them both against several soldiers. He takes his time to tell her how he's lucky to see all the surprises she brings. In the light of his gaze, her doubt usually melts. Anyway, moment has to be over because they are to rescue Sarai. It's Aemon who informed Remorse of Diem's plans to go to Fortress. Even Luther cannot hide his disappointment that Diem told Aemon of her plans. Yeah, buddy, we're there with you. We're there with you. Oh my God. Let's face it, we have been in worse situations ourselves that we put ourselves into, and we were kind with ourselves. I feel like Diem is a reflection of every one of us at our worst, making the worst choices possible. How they were able to catch Sarai is that they lured her away while Luther prepared for photos. They lured her away with apples, and then they put a contraption over her wings. They muzzled her mouth, and they put several chains around her. So when they jab her soft underbelly with swords, Diem cries out, feeling the hit. Alex is at the helm of holding down Sarai. She's obeying Remorse's orders, even though she's instructing them, don't hurt the Griven, just hold her down. Okay? Now, while Diem is having a verbal showdown with Remorse, she communicates to Luther's mind to use a distraction to remove the muzzle, because she's distracting Remorse right now. And then using her Umbrous magic, Luther, just get the muzzle off Sarai. She'll handle the rest herself. Remorse wants, don't bring your mother back here. The crowns will make a bloodbath of the realm, and they won't stop until you're on the gallows. Even if the crowns can't hurt Diem, they will hurt everyone she loves. She better not come back to Lumnos. This is actually sound advice, no matter the context. But Diem is being reactive right now. She's not stopping for a second to think at all, especially as her mother could be executed any minute. That last vote could be sent any minute. Do you understand? Meanwhile, Luther and Alex face off in a duel that ends with her bleeding on the ground. That's Alex. The healer in Diem wants to help Alex, but it will look as though Alex aided their mission if Diem helps, obviously. Now, once the muzzle is off from Sarai's mouth, she breathes down blue fire on the unfortunate soul still about. Luther grabs their bags and they make it on Sarai's back. Bravely, she launches into the air and they take off. While flying, Diem heals Sarai's wounds. Please be taking note of all the magic Diem is using in this stretch. She's using so much magic in the day, and she's going to use a whole lot more in one day, like less than 12 hours. Do you understand? Just be taking note of this. So she also learns Alex drew blood first. So Luther has an open wound right now that Diem heals. I don't know how Luther is doing any of this. This guy was on the brink of death less than how many hours ago? And he's like on this mission, being fast-paced. I applaud him. But to be fair, he trained himself as a soldier, as a fighter. So he's better prepared for all of these scenarios than Diem is actually. Do you get? So Diem shows Luther a mental imagery of what went down with her and the guards in the Mortal City. She thinks he hates it, that, she did that, but apparently he enjoys her rampages. Like he said when he pauses to ask how her visit to Henri went. It reminds her of what Henri told her. Well, make sure you warn him so he doesn't waste his life pining for a woman who will never fully give herself away. Give him the courtesy he never gave me, and let him leave before you break his heart too. As for Diem is incapable of love and long-term commitments kind of thing. So she forces herself to inform Luther she might never want more than what they currently have. No weddings or meeting bonds or children. Luther, unsurprisingly, already knows this about Diem, that she's independent, treats her life like it's disposable. When I read this part, I was like, have you met Sarah yet? Serafina? We're going to meet Serafina in the story after this one. So after the last episode of this, which is next week, we're going to meet Serafina right in the next episode. Diem has got nothing on Sarah. That one is existing to die. She's not even living. So we're going to meet Sarah next. Yeah, Luther wants all of Diem, including the parts that doubts herself. His love will go very far, no matter how worst. Their happiness is short-lived, as a snap of burning pain indicates they've entered Photos, the border thing now. Thanks to the borders breaking down, Luther still has his magic, and also some of Lumnos' terrain have entered Photos. Portos' rocky terrain has entered Lumnos, Now, Diem thanks the gods, but Luther corrects his kindred since their magic came from them. So Diem says the kindred wanted these borders. I'll thank whatever god of chaos is helping me work against them instead. Luther sighs and sends out an offering against her blasphemy. So Diem actually longs for his kind of faith. It has solace. She keeps it to herself though. So next time you are showing your faith and somebody's like, I don't know why you should worship God at this. Let me tell you, a part of people actually want to be connected to a higher being, a higher force. because there is consolation and solace in that. But most importantly, the God we serve, the God of the Christians, he is real. He works wonders. And it's okay if you're taking time to believe. If you're not a Christian, you're listening. God is going to catch up to you. I'm just telling you because he loves you too much to let you go. Luther asked Diem, if you were to meet Lumnos, what would you ask? So Diem says, I'm going to ask her what it's going to take to win this war. Close to landing, Luther asks if Diem has any plan. Because my girl just be reacting. No plans whatsoever. So the only thing Diem can say is the Empress Queen said, I have a right to see my mother. Once I know she's alive, we'll pretend to leave on Lumnos, then sneak back in late tonight. Luther's only reply, a frown. Now, they can't get any backup from their friends because that'll put their friends in danger. Diem doesn't want that. So Diem lands in the center of the training field and demands to see the king. No one attends to her, although Lumnos' ascended soldiers bow to her. However, she learns from Luther they cannot defend her if a fight comes up because as soldiers, their loyalty is first to the Emarian army and second to Lumnos. It was for immortals who are assumed to be citizens of whichever realm they're currently in. Now, I tried to get the description of how the fortress king looks like. He is a boulder of a man. His massive frame makes bulky men pale in comparison, like men like Taran, who is big and bulky. But next to this king, they're slim. His body is overswollen with muscle. His shoulders is bunching at his ears. You can't see the neck. He's only wearing leather breeches and his crown, which appears as a throbbing ring of veins. His bare chest gleams with sweat and speckled blood, and thick trails of red is dripping from the ivory-handled broadsword dangling in his hand. So he just came out from killing somebody. The king shows up and demands why she's in his realm. So she tells him, your soldiers said you wanted to chat. All around her, Diem feels auras of powerful descended and the malice contained in their godhood. They hate her. Regardless, none are as powerful as Luther or herself. Her instincts purr that her silver light can just destroy them. But our girl won't ever. The king won't attend to them until she starts to talk about the Hearthstone, so he invites her in. He doesn't have a name, she learns quickly. Before he was king, he was called Child 159330. Say what now? She's just going to stick to photos. So Diem and Porthos chat in a Godstone chamber that's supposed to be a safe room for the crowns. The soldiers in Diem's realms have Godstone. That's what Diem is asking. Why do they have Godstones and they're in my realm? The king deems it necessary because there are rebels there supported by very highly placed descended. As per, the Godstone is for the descended supporting the rebels. Diem clears the air that she actually wasn't a part of the attack on Coriel. She was kidnapped, as well as Arbors, which explains why there is no response or vote from the Arbors Queen yet. As to if Diem is telling the truth, there is no Umbers ascended in the army to confirm that, as Umbers forbids her people from serving in the army. Diem is like, wait, we can do that? Like, wait, I have the authority to tell my people not to serve in the army? That's cool. There really could have been so much Diem would have learned from the Umbers Queen, political-wise. You get. The king looks at her funny and she's like, yeah, well, let's put that aside for now. Diem wants to see her mother, who is a prisoner of the crowns. She's like, you can't stop me. A crown holds no authority over other crowns. Fortos immediately knows, you've been around Umbers. It's only Umbers that would teach you that kind of thing. Diem doesn't correct the assumption. Better to appear as if she has an ally. Reluctantly, the king agrees that she'll see her mother. So once they're walking down the passage, Diem purposely throws out her aura that makes everyone slam against something, including photos. Luther skates across the floor and Diem helps him up. She hasn't gotten skilled yet at directing her aura. It has a desired effect, of making the king look at her no longer with annoyance, like, who's this irritating girl with a crown, but as a threat. That's how she wants him to see her. They leave that building for a compound of mazes. There's only red-eyed men about, no woman, as Father Fortos has chosen women as healers, while men have the decaying power. There are a few cases where Fortos descended is neither male or female, and as a result possess both the decaying powers and the healing powers. Such descended are usually very valuable to the Fortos king. Also, Fortos has never had a queen. Unlike other realms, feeding their males misogynistic instincts. Now, because of how Fortos keeps talking down on women, Diem hides her hand behind Luther and sends him a wave of decaying powers, making him nauseous and his stomach is hotting. He thinks his guards are doing it. When a fight almost breaks out, she goes, oh my God, you men are so emotional. Put those weapons away. Diem hadn't expected the decaying powers to work. She just tried it on instinct, actually. Now, the building they eventually go into is nothing impressive on the outside. But then they descend down a staircase. They pass through several Godstone doors with blood locks. There are no guards down here. She's just considering, will my control even get the king to open these blood locks willingly? She doesn't think it's possible that if you're controlling someone's mind and saying, hey, give your blood, the blood lock will respond. I actually think a highly trained Umbrous magic user can make him give his blood willingly, and the blood locks will respond. Diem doesn't fall into that category just yet. Also, people never escape this prison. That's what he's telling her. It's impossible with its only singular exits and flatlands for miles. That's very encouraging. Diem uses luminous lights to peer into a prison, holding one Umbrous ascended like that. The conditions are abominable, even for prisoners. What is like, all I'm mandated to do is keep them alive. In a section of cells containing about 40 descended, there is not a sound, because these descended are heavily drugged by flame roots. At this point, Luther's magic sputters away. It flickers. It comes on and goes because of the barriers are breaking down, but not quite yet. King looks very happy. Luther, too, is a threat to the king. He's stronger than the king right now. But without his magic... Now, when they get to the human section, it's set up in pens, like where you keep goats. But the human families are kept together in groups. And it's still so bad. Prisons are so cold. Children are here. Why are children in prison? Everybody is bony. Blankets is not there. No blankets. Buckets are overflowing in waste. Diem loses her temper. How can photos be so vile? She's only distracted when her mother's voice calls out to her. Her mother's copper red hair that glows ruby in the shadow is chopped up. Her mother's hair is so red. Very bright red. Her mother can barely stand and is assisted by those in the cell until Diem can reach through the bars for her hand. So she uses her magic to just examine her mother. Broken bones galore. Punctured lung, shattered knee, back slashed to ribbons, one tooth missing, another loose. The king is like, she has information that could stop the war and save thousands of lives. We have a moral obligation to get it by any means necessary. Luther fires at him. There's nothing moral about doing this to defenseless people. These people are in your care. It's your duty to keep them safe. The king is like, I'm only keeping those who matter safe. With the unintended distraction Luther is provided, Diem is able to heal her mother sufficiently. With this, her mother now asks the people that are holding her up, because she couldn't stand on her own there. She had to be held up. Could you give me some privacy with my little girl? Lady, you should have actually just said, could you give me privacy with the queen? At least acknowledge the fact that your daughter is a queen. But the fact that Diem was so in denial about who she is in Glow, like the book before now, is because it's something her mother pushed into her. And we're seeing her mother in real time still having that same denial, despite what's really looking at her. Part of what O'Reilly thought was her torture was news of Andrea's death, that just told me my husband died so that they would make me hot. They mentioned the fire, but Diem clarifies that, it was murder, and, daddy is dead, and we haven't caught who did it. O'Reilly now encourages Diem to go to the Guardians so that they will help her find the culprit. Diem has to clarify explicitly that, to the Guardians, I am a descendant, no matter my mortal ties, to even their leader. When Diem demands why her mom never told her about who she is, she's a descendant and all, O'Reilly starts explaining that Diem's dad was different. But then she notices that Photos is paying attention, the king. It's gotten quiet between him and Luther now, so she stops. Diem now says, I need a private place to speak with my mom. And is met with resistance at first, but eventually they give them a cell to talk in, and Photos insists on shutting that door. And the downside is that Luther is out there with Photos, and this door is pure godstone. Is apparently a cell for the most dangerous prisoners, which Photos is hoping that Diem would soon be a prisoner in his cell. Do you understand? Because it's pure godstone that is the door, Diem's magic cannot walk outside to give Luther the shield she's been giving him since his magic sputtered out. Within the cell, O'Reilly asks what Diem's escape plans are. Diem doesn't have one, which leads her mother to plainly state, you need an army. Diem goes, you have no idea what I'm capable of. Oh, honey, at least learn here. Even if your mother is underestimating you, she has a point. Please, you should have plans. When O'Reilly forms a plan going by her extensive days as a guardian leader, Diem goes, you're just a healer. See, Diem is doing to her mother what her mother does to her. So nobody is innocent in this book. See, everybody just does it to each other. Underestimate and co. Yo, have sense. Do you know what else looks like this? Real life. Please take a turn for the worse when two messenger hawks arrive. One from Aberus with her vote that could possibly be stating let's execute orally, and the other from Remis damning Diem and Luther to the Photos execution as well. As by they're coming there to rescue, Now, it has to be prison break time now, especially as the king starts killing Luther with decay magic. Diem is trapped within the cell. She's also hearing her prince dying. She just saved this guy's life and he's dying. Also, the foul odor of decay even reaches her. Luther is decaying. Oh my god. Diem tried to use her magic to break out. No way. Her godhood flees from Godstone the same way it fled from the toxin within Luther's body. Diem is willing to give the king any information about the guardians who held her, but Raleigh stops her. I won't let you betray the guardians for him. But right now, Diem's emotions are building up and her magic is ready to roar. O'Reilly is standing before the door and won't move. By now, Luther is permanently sleeping according to photos. He's not replying when Diem calls out to him. So Diem involuntarily uses Umber's magic to command her mother to step away. And then her silvery magic comes to play. This silvery magic is different from her godhood. That silvery magic comes from her blood. It merges with the Godstone as if it's balance in cap letters. It's an ancient knowledge of pure truth that escaped Diem's grasp just before she can hold on to it. Anyway, that door is open now, and the king is shocked. How did you do that? Diem ties down the king with shadow vines. Heals Luther, who is so far gone he will be dead if his heart hasn't been miraculously spared once again. Oh my god! Mother Lumnos is working overtime protecting Luther. Seriously. O'Reilly runs off despite Diem's warning that she should not. And that's Fortress's opening to kill her without confirming a 6th vote, as per if a prisoner tries to escape, kill on sight. But Diem keeps him occupied while Luther goes after O'Reilly. Fortress won't let Diem just leave with her mother, so a fight is inevitable. He tells her that she's all confidence of a man but no balls. At this point, everybody's saying her the same thing. You talk big, but we have not seen you actually do anything. Okay? This is the first time Diem uses a sword forged from magic. She's good, even if Fortress is dangerously strong. As if all his 5 brain cells and senses were honed into this one thing, being good at fighting. She has many openings to end him because she's faster, being that she's smaller. But she doesn't take those openings to end his life because she's holding back. Killing him is not what she's here for. Eventually, she hears footfalls of soldiers coming with the message from the Hawks. And she now uses Mirror's Wind to knock the king out like boom! And then she now uses shadow magic to conceal herself and him. It is sloppy, but she hopes it helps. She further uses Umber's magic to push a thought into one of the soldiers in charge of those ones coming. And they believe that the king returned to his office, so they walk away. You know what's funny? As they walk away, Diem tries to check, Fortress, are you okay? Why do you want to check if he's okay? He's trying to kill you. And she almost gets slashed across her face. He has figured out that she has other magics aside Lumnotes and brands her an abomination. To be fair, if the Descended weren't so cruel, Diem is kind of an anomaly. Why should you have all 9 realms magic? Do you understand? What if you decide to turn on everybody? What if you're evil? Which we would see the other person that has all 9 magics and is evil and is a threat to the world. We're going to meet that person. We're already meeting him. How he made 80,000 Descended soldiers disappear. We're going to meet that guy. Okay? So imagine Diem has the very same capability of that person. Imagine if she turned evil with her kind of powers, is a threat to the world. So I get when these people think of her as, they want to contain some kind of magic. You get, it makes sense. I mean, let's step away from Diem for a moment and see things through other people's perspectives. It makes sense. She looks like a threat. Although her heart right now is good. And she's really the only person standing in the way between them and the end of the world. But they don't know that yet. I doubt she even knows that yet herself. Yet. He swings for her neck. She uses a magic dagger made from igneous magic. It's hot. And then she slashes his wrist. So it burns that wrist. And he suddenly gets a realization. Because the way he stops like, oh no, you can't be. So I think this is where it dawns on him that she's his heir. They say that crowns know their heir when their time is coming to an end. So his time is coming to an end. So he immediately gets realization that Diem is his heir. And he's like, no. He's in fact so disgusted by it that he tries to snap her neck. Imagine. Now, by this time, Luther has returned with her held tightly mother. Diem is able to sink in a shadow dagger in the king's thigh. He has her head in his grasp and she just, and he hits an artery deep enough that he's bleeding out. So they're now making plans to leave. Luther worries Diem may not have enough magic to bend through the doors for their escape. Do you see all the magic she's been using? Like she's hollowing out. Oh, do you get? Also, a headache is coming on her, a really bad one. Now, while her mother is insisting they can't live without the mortals, Fortress brushes her leg and Father Umber speaks through him in an impossibly strong, ancient, powerful voice. He now tells her, never before have I made this choice. It was not an easy one for me. No, will it be an easy one for you? He is warning her. Both Diem and Fortress are glowing silver moon at this point. He now says, that's Father Umber's, remember my sister's words, beware my brother's wrath. Diem feels that urge once more because it's urging her, claim me, daughter of the forgotten. So she does, and light bursts from her. And the light now creates a tunnel, a perfect circle-shaped tunnel above her head. A way out! They don't have to burn through those. Now, through Luther's eyes, Diem sees herself. After the whole scene calms down, through the Umbra's magic, a fiery red corona is ringing around her body. The shimmering glow is slowly receding from her skin. Above her head, her crown has changed. A new peak has formed, and woven among the tawny, star-dotted vines and glittering crystal, a ring of throbbing, tangled veins. Honestly, Umbra's magic is nice. It's a very helpful mirror. Oh, honey, how do I look? And if he's lying to you, you can just see how you look through his eyes. Oh my God, that's actually just a side piece. Right now, she's a queen of Lumnos and a queen of Photos. Diem truly doesn't want this crown. She can barely do anything in Lumnos. She has no power there. And then Photos? Oh God. So Luther tells her, don't mistake the pain of change for failure. You may not be the queen they want, but you're the queen they need. She clings to Luther's fate because she has none of her own right now. Aurelia, on the other hand, is more interested in Luther's thumbs that is caressing Diem's cheeks than in the crowns her daughter has. Aurelia is still insistent we cannot live without the mottos. Even as queen of Photos, Diem can't just let the prisoners of the crowns go. Luther informs her, Photos descended live and die by their rules. The last time a Photos king broke from the law, his own men quartered him up as spad. They made him into pieces and then strung the pieces up as a one into the next one. Boy, Diem has to incinerate the Photos dead body, to at least take care of that problem. Diem agrees to that, all the mottos, they would take all of them, but Aurelia wants to remain with them for a few days after they escape to see them settled. Diem refuses. I promise that I'm going to reunite you with him today. Diem says, your family has needed you. We've needed you for months. Then Aurelia says, you can wait a few days more. Oh my God. Luther does not want to put mouth on this argument. You know why? Let Diem have a taste of her own medicine. Remember when they were in Umbrus, when Luther was like, we need to get home already. And Diem is like, oh, come on, a few days won't hurt. Let me just see the queen. This is something like it. So Diem now is in that position. Before, she used to put other people in that position. Now her mother is putting her in that position. So feel it. It's sweet, Abby. So that's how they have to go back to announce the mottos that we're going to rescue you. And they're distrustful of the descended queen. Aurelia has to step in to assure them they'll be safe. When Diem clarifies the ascended is going to help them, but you should not hurt those descended, like some mortals who want to see every last descended dead. When she sees that they actually agree with the sentiment of let everyone last descended die, Diem has to make a grand speech. Do you think they'll stop there? They wish death on anyone they deem different. What happens when they find you different because of your gender, your skin color, or your realm, or the gods you worship or the people you love? What the kindred did was a great injustice. But before they arrived, the mortals were at war with each other over these very things. We can't abide that either. Isn't injustice our real enemy, in whatever form it takes and whoever it comes from? So there's a reluctant agreement. She now adds, I will raise an army against the descendants' unjust rule. That I vow to you. But the world I'm fighting for is one where all are equal, no matter the blood in their veins. Let's not make hate our guiding light. Let's choose love, choose fairness, choose that thing that tangled at her head before. Balance. In caps. Someday we'll answer to the Everflame for our choice. This is mine. Her mom is stunned, like, yo, is this my daughter? Luther is proud. In the end, she asks them to consider fighting on her side. Time to set these prisoners free. She uses ropes of blistering light to melt the iron bars down. Luther stands guard while she makes rounds, healing. She uses Meru's magic to make water because many of them are dehydrated. Uses arbors trying to make food. That is hard. She winds up making the whole prison cell a garden of dandelion flowers that the children are running around and playing with. So when she's finished, she's heading off to get weapons, according to her. Aurelia is concerned, thinking Diem is making the situation to be one of the games she used to play with Tella. If Luther who actually tells Aurelia, have some faith in the woman you raised, my boy, someone had to tell her. She frees Luther's magic, being queen right now, and, Luther needs his magic back, right? Diem reaches for the forging magic of Photos and breaks Luther's shell so that he has access to his magic. Ooh, nice. Ooh, nice. But she doesn't like it. She's like, oh my God, this really confirms to me that I'm queen of this realm. And as queen, she feels protective of the realm and its people. But it doesn't mean they want to kill her. Plain and simple. Restoring his magic will make sure he can defend the people, fight by her side. And it's strange that no guards have come in yet. Remember that most of the doors through here are bloodlocks. Yeah, so not so surprising. They're on their own for now. Diem goes to that descended section of cells. And she goes to the first cell, containing the Aberus prisoner. So using Umbra's magic, she's able to see that the reason he's in this prison is because he helps rebels, that's mortals, get out of Fornos. And Fornos is not a mortal-friendly realm at all. It's an eat or be eaten realm. And yet this man helped mortals get away, and for that he was imprisoned because he crossed too far over the border and the army captured him. His name is Aeneas. At least that's what I'm pronouncing it as until I get the correct pronunciation. He cannot walk because the photos, they broke his legs and deliberately healed it wrong, paralyzing him. So Diem exhausts half of her remaining magic, trying to figure out how to heal him. She's resentful again that she didn't have the opportunity to learn how to wield this advanced magic and help more people. But an idea comes, so she combines her mortal studies on human anatomy with her magic, instructing the magic on exactly what to do, and it obeys. As for the flame roots that are dulling his powers, she uses the silvery light, the other magic. It starts as a frail fire within her, and she now uses her magic as a vessel to get it across to Aeneas. And boom! His skin sparks silvery, and then his magic is back. He makes grapes grow easily, because this is someone who has used his magic a long time, and he's been in this cell for decades. Jesus Christ. How old was he when he was even locked? You get, so he's had chance to really get very advanced with his magic, and he eats the grapes. And he's like, yo, I can just eat. His magic is back. He can make food grow. He can feed all those people when they get out. Do you get? So she helps him walk out of there, tears in his eyes. He tells her, people don't leave this place, Diem, because she just told him to call her Diem. They bring us here to die. But she tells him, not anymore. So we are in prison break time period. And we're just going to end here for today. You get? Please, you have to come back for the next episode. She uses so much of her magic to heal and get all this descended out. And it's good because at least this descended will be able to protect the mortals, help them get away, everybody work together because her own magic is on the brink and after her life. So she can create a distraction for the others to get away. Those are the things we're just going to see in the next episode, how it happens, what happens when they get back to Lumnos. They're not even supposed to. Remis actually gave her a fair warning, but Diem is Diem and she makes very questionable choices, like some of us, including myself. So we're going to see how all that goes. Thank you for sticking with us until the stretch. Please do not remember what I said at the start of the episodes. Join our Telegram community. Tell somebody. Review. Thank you so much. Okay, Nibber. See you in the next episode. I love you. Bye.